As of August 2025, there are no countries that completely ban Cambodian citizens from entry based on nationality alone. However, some countries have strict visa policies, security concerns, or other restrictions that make it nearly impossible for Cambodians to enter without special permissions. These restrictions can be due to political issues, security risks, or lack of diplomatic agreements. Below is a list of 10 countries where entry for Cambodians is highly restricted, ranked from 10 to 1, based on the difficulty of access due to visa denials, travel bans, or other barriers. Each entry explains why access is limited and what challenges Cambodians face. Number 10. Yemen. Yemen is a country in the Middle East facing a severe civil war, making travel extremely dangerous. For Cambodians, entering Yemen is nearly impossible due to strict visa policies and security concerns. The country is listed in the U.S. travel ban's red category, which includes nations with severe travel restrictions. Yemen's government has limited diplomatic ties with Cambodia, and there's no Cambodian embassy in Yemen to process visas. Even if a visa is applied for, approvals are rare because of the ongoing conflict and lack of stable governance. The U.S. State Department notes Yemen as a high-risk area due to terrorism and war, and Cambodian citizens face additional scrutiny due to concerns about government fraud in Cambodia, as mentioned in a 2025 State Department memo. Travelers also need to prove they're not involved in illegal activities, which is hard without strong diplomatic support. For Cambodians, the lack of direct flights and the need for multiple transit visas make travel even tougher. In short, Yemen's dangerous situation and strict policies make it a no-go for most Cambodians. Number 9. Syria. Syria, another war-torn country in the Middle East, has strict entry rules that make it nearly impossible for Cambodians to visit. The ongoing civil war, combined with international sanctions, means Syria's government rarely issues visas to Cambodian citizens. There's no Cambodian embassy in Syria, and the visa process is complicated, often requiring approval from high-level authorities. A 2025 U.S. travel advisory highlights Syria as a level 4 do not travel zone due to terrorism and conflict, which applies to all foreigners, including Cambodians. Even if a visa is granted, Cambodians face challenges like proving the purpose of their visit and providing extensive documentation. The lack of diplomatic relations between Cambodia and Syria adds to the problem, as there's little support for travelers. Additionally, transit through neighboring countries like Turkey or Lebanon requires extra visas, which are hard to get. For Cambodians, the risks of kidnapping, violence, and lack of consular help make Syria an inaccessible destination in 2025. Number 8. North Korea. North Korea is one of the most closed-off countries in the world, and Cambodians face extreme difficulty entering. The country's strict government controls all travel, and visas for Cambodians are rarely approved unless for official diplomatic or business purposes. North Korea has limited ties with Cambodia, despite past relations during the Cold War. The visa process requires an invitation from a North Korean entity, which is nearly impossible for ordinary Cambodians to obtain. A 2025 report notes North Korea's isolationist policies and lack of trust in foreign visitors, especially from countries like Cambodia, which has been flagged for issues like government fraud. Even if a visa is secured, travelers face heavy surveillance, restricted movement, and the risk of detention. There are no direct flights from Cambodia, and transiting through China or Russia adds more visa hurdles. For a Cambodian, the combination of strict rules, high costs, and safety risks makes North Korea practically off-limits in 2025. Number 7. Libya. Libya, located in North Africa, is in chaos due to ongoing conflict and political instability, making it nearly impossible for Cambodians to enter. The country's visa system is disorganized, and Cambodian citizens are rarely granted entry due to security concerns. Libya is part of the U.S. travel ban's red category, signaling severe restrictions. There's no Cambodian embassy in Libya, so visa applications must go through third countries, which is a lengthy and uncertain process. A 2025 U.S. State Department memo highlights Libya's lack of a stable government, which complicates issuing reliable travel documents. Cambodians also face scrutiny due to concerns about illegal activities like cyber scams in Cambodia. The lack of direct flights and the need for multiple transit visas add to the challenge. Even if entry is granted, dangers like kidnapping and violence make Libya unsafe. For Cambodians, especially young travelers, Libya's instability and strict policies make it a no-go destination in 2025. Number 6. Somalia. Somalia in East Africa is another country where Cambodians face near-total travel bans due to ongoing conflict and terrorism risks. The Somali government has limited control and visa processes are unreliable. Cambodians need special approval from Somali authorities, which is rarely given due to weak diplomatic ties. Somalia is listed in the U.S. travel ban's red category, indicating severe restrictions for all foreigners. A 2025 travel advisory warns of dangers like piracy and violence, which make travel risky for Cambodians. There's no Cambodian embassy in Somalia, so getting a visa involves dealing with embassies in other countries, which often reject applications from Cambodians due to security concerns. Transit through countries like Kenya or Ethiopia requires additional visas, which are hard to obtain. For a Cambodian, the lack of consular support, high costs, and extreme safety risks make Somalia an inaccessible destination in 2025. Even visa on arrival options, available to some nationalities, are not extended to Cambodians. Number 5. Cuba. Cuba, an island nation in the Caribbean, has strict entry rules that make it very hard for Cambodians to visit. The Cuban government requires visas for most foreigners, and Cambodians face extra scrutiny due to limited diplomatic relations. Cuba is part of the U.S. travel ban's red category, which flags countries with severe restrictions. A 2025 State Department memo notes concerns about government fraud in Cambodia, leading to additional checks for Cambodian travelers. Visa applications must be made through a Cuban embassy in a third country, like Vietnam, which is costly and time-consuming. Cambodians also need to show strong reasons for their visit, like official business, which is hard for regular citizens. The lack of direct flights from Cambodia and the need for transit visas through countries like Mexico add more barriers. For young Cambodians, the high costs, complex process, and risk of visa denial make Cuba nearly impossible to visit in 2025. Number 4. Iran. Iran in the Middle East has strict visa policies that make entry for Cambodians extremely difficult. While Iran offers visas on arrival for some nationalities, Cambodians are not included and must apply through an Iranian embassy, often in Thailand or Malaysia. The process requires an invitation letter and extensive documentation, which is hard to arrange due to weak Cambodia-Iran ties. Iran is listed in the U.S. travel ban's red category, signaling high restrictions. A 2025 U.S. advisory notes Iran's government scrutinizes visitors from countries like Cambodia due to security concerns and lack of diplomatic trust. Even if a visa is approved, Cambodians face risks like surveillance and limited consular support. Transit through countries like Turkey or Qatar requires extra visas, adding costs and complexity. For a Cambodian, the combination of strict rules, high costs, and safety concerns makes Iran an inaccessible destination in 2025. Number 3. Venezuela. Venezuela, in South America, is facing a political and economic crisis, making it nearly impossible for Cambodians to enter. The country's visa process is strict, and Cambodian citizens are rarely granted entry due to limited diplomatic relations. Venezuela is in the U.S. travel ban's red category, indicating severe restrictions for all foreigners. A 2025 State Department memo highlights concerns about Cambodia's government fraud and lack of reliable identity documents, leading to extra scrutiny for Cambodian travelers. Visa applications must go through a Venezuelan embassy in a third country, like Vietnam, which is costly and often rejected. The lack of direct flights from Cambodia and the need for multiple transit visas add more hurdles. Venezuela's unstable situation, with risks of violence and shortages, makes it unsafe for travelers. For young Cambodians, the complex visa process, high costs, and safety risks make Venezuela a no-go destination in 2025. Number 2. Sudan. Sudan, in Northeast Africa, is in the middle of a civil war, making it extremely difficult for Cambodians to enter. The Sudanese government has strict visa policies, and Cambodian citizens are rarely approved due to security concerns and weak diplomatic ties. Sudan is part of the U.S. travel ban's red category, which flags countries with severe travel restrictions. A 2025 U.S. advisory warns of risks like violence and terrorism, which apply to all foreigners, including Cambodians. There's no Cambodian embassy in Sudan, so visa applications must be made through embassies in other countries, which often reject them due to instability. Transit through countries like Egypt or Ethiopia requires additional visas, adding costs and complexity. For a Cambodian, the lack of consular support, high risks, and near-certain visa denials make Sudan an inaccessible destination in 2025. Even humanitarian workers struggle to enter, highlighting the severe restrictions. Number 1. Afghanistan. Afghanistan tops the list as the most restricted country for Cambodians in 2025. The Taliban's control since 2021 has led to strict visa policies, and Cambodians are almost never granted entry due to security concerns and lack of diplomatic relations. Afghanistan is in the U.S. travel ban's red category, signaling a near-total ban on foreign visitors. A 2025 U.S. State Department memo notes concerns about Cambodia's government fraud, making visa approvals even harder. There's no Cambodian embassy in Afghanistan, so applications must go through third countries, like Pakistan, which is costly and often unsuccessful. The ongoing conflict, terrorism risks, and lack of consular support make travel dangerous. Transit visas through countries like Iran or Pakistan add more barriers. For a Cambodian, the combination of strict rules, high costs, and extreme safety risks makes Afghanistan completely off limits in 2025. Even official delegations face challenges, underscoring the near-impossible entry for regular citizens. That's the top 10 countries Cambodians can't easily visit in 2025. Did any surprise you? Like and subscribe for more travel facts, and thanks for watching. Stay curious.